A very warm welcome to the Katie's Arms on this important Friday. I thought we would start a couple minutes early. I appreciate that isn't that helpful to people who were joining us at 7:30 because I'm just starting anyway. But A, bugger it. B, the thing about Katie's Arms is that there is no rules because we're all completely done with rules. And also it's the football. So I need to let everybody go like a couple minutes early, don't I? Because you all need to get your beers open and sit down and watch. I don't know who's even covering it. It must be Gary Lineker, right? Because Gary Lineker seems to cover everything. Although, who's the guy that I love from the football with the beard? Although he just shaved it off. I think he was oh no, I can't remember his name. Either way, I love him very much. He looks angry all the time. I want to say Ray. Someone will help me in a minute. Who's the lovely footballer that does commentary that's kind of angry about everything? No, you can't just say football. You have to give me the answer. Okay, you're not helping me at all. I'm back in my shorts because, as you'll know, I made an error last week where we discussed my wang. And then it turns out my husband is the only guy on the whole planet who doesn't know what a wang is. And we recognise that a wang is not actually anything to do with Roy Keane, thank you, not anything to do with lady parts. So we can agree that that is not a wang. I made a mistake, and obviously my husband doesn't know what a willy is, although I've got children, so that's controversial in itself. Roy Keane, it turns out, is a super hottie. I'm not a massive fan of football, but I am a massive fan of Roy Keane, particularly in that knitwear he had with the little embellishment here and then a little and then the captain stripes with the beard, looking aggressive at everyone. Yes, thank you, Roy Keane. We'll have more of you. Less of the old Lineker twat, slimy, more of Roy Keane. Is that not what everyone wants for? Football tonight. I know many of you don't care about football, and some of you saying no more football while they take the knee. I get it. Turn it off for that bit, maybe. And I totally disagree with anyone taking a knee unless it's out of kind of respect or you're in a church. I don't think you should be taking a knee at all. We don't need politics in football, and frankly, all of that lot can just piss off. I imagine there's an enormous amount of pressure on the players to comply with taking a knee. I still think it would be much bolder if a few of them stood like good men would. But I think taking a knee is a load of old bollocks as well. And Black Lives Matter actually has done nothing for regular black dudes that just want to get along, work hard and try their best. Black Lives Matter doesn't represent any of those people. Anyway, that aside, I wanted to say a massive thank you to the Tartan Army and to all the Scottish fans who have come down into London. I just love you. You have given me life over the last day or so. I think you're absolutely brilliant. I love the fact that you put stuff in fountains. I love the fact that you've thrown yourself at mopeds in the street. The laughter of your friend watching you be run over by a moped. This is on my Instagram, so please go to the clip of the guy being run over by a moped and listen to his friend laugh. I've listened to that. I can't stop watching it because every time I hear his mate laughing, it gives me life because that's the world I used to know. Like, that's the way the military operate as well. Like, if you have both of your legs blown off, your military mates will tell you, well, you know, it's going to save you a shit ton in shoes. That's the sort of humour that's my kind of humour. And to all the people who were on my Instagram saying, oh, what about the guy with the motorbike? Oh, I'd be well pissed off if that was me. Oh, is that what we want to go back to? A life where people are drunk, too drunk to cross the... Yes, it is. Yes, that is the life I want. I want to live in a city where people are so shit-faced they get run over and their mate just laughs. I miss that life. I miss the old world. And Scottish fans have brought it. And I'm so grateful to them. I think... I'm sorry for the connection. Somebody in my house. Do you think it's my children using the Wi-Fi? Shall I go and beat them up immediately? Shall I go and yell out the door? Anyway, Sadiq Khan, the little shit. I've met him in real life and he is that awful. People say, why do you call him the Muslim mayor? Because he's Muslim. Because if Pakistan were coming over to play some shit cricket or whatever, he'd be like, oh, welcome to Pakistan, boo, boo, boo. Oh, welcome to all the Muslims on, you know, blah, blah, blah. Because it's Scottish fans, he told them not to come to my capital city. That little shit tried to tell Scottish people not to come to London. He couldn't piss right off. Now, I've met him, as I say, he is literally this height. which is a height I call nipple height. And no man on the planet should be that height. Like, that is not an acceptable height to be. And I understand that, you know, we're supposed to be inclusive these days and all the rest of it, but I can't do short people. I don't mind short women as long as they're not Nicola Sturgeon or angry or ginger. There shouldn't be short people, really, because that should have been outbred. I think we've been this before. It's not about eugenics. It's just that who mates with a short person? So who mated with who to get Sadiq Khan? I don't even want to go into that. It's probably first cousins. But he is a twat, and this high. So when I crossed the road to actively shout at him, which is what I did in public, about being a twat, and he ran away as fast as his little legs would carry him, which wasn't very fast. And also never try and run away from Katie Hopkins, because I used to be an 800 metre runner for the army, so I'm just saying you're not going to get very far away from me. But he tried to run away with his little people around him whilst I was shouting at him for being a twat, and he's still being a twat now. So to all the Scottish fans, I'm so excited that you're there. I hope tonight is a draw, or everybody gets along, and afterwards, like, the English and Scottish fans can just be like, yay, let's have one massive party. Get naked, throw yourselves into all the fountains, get amongst Trafalgar Square, where you should be watching the football tonight. And Sadiq Khan has specifically tried to keep you out of that, to try and piss you off. Go and do what you need to do on City Hall, rub yourself up against the windows there, whatever it is, because that's kind of important to me that you do that. Whoever was the naked Scots person with your little winky out, large winky out, and then someone did a pixelated image of it, but then they pixelated the winky wang to be really big. I love you. That's what we need. More pixelated wangs is what I want to see on the front pages tomorrow morning. So thank you to the Tartan Army. Thank you for your determination to come. I hope your hangover isn't too bad, and keep on drinking. I think it might be the only way to get through it, and tear up London and have the most fun and show other men how you're supposed to be in the time of a pretend pandemic, because it's just joyous watching all of you. I wanted to tell you as well, Sadiq Khan, despite promising before the election that he would take a pay cut, just awarded himself a pay rise to £152,734 per annum before he claims his expenses, before any speeches he gives for money, before. I mean, you should see what his press budget is on publicity for Khan. Despite being this height, like, he's got a bigger press budget than someone who's 6'8", even though he's pocket-sized. He said he wouldn't take that much money, and of course he has, because it's one rule for them and one rule for the rest of us. And what sums that up better than 2,500 VIPs being allowed straight into that damn football when the rest of us have been told we're not allowed to piss off to Mallorca for a couple of days? Those VIPs being allowed to get in without quarantine, without isolation. What a bunch of dickheads. And the only thing that makes me joyous about that is that people, even if you're that stupid, like, even if you're a mask pervert, what's that? Hold on a minute. I just want to get this for you. So, yeah, sorry, I've slightly left you alone there for a moment. But look, even if you're one of these dickheads, hold on, I've never put one of these on before. Oof, shit me. Now I know what it feels like to be a welder. How do you drink your soup or coffee? Don't know. Imagine it's a bit like a burqa, isn't it? Anyway, if you're one of these dickheads who wears this sort of shit in your car when you're travelling alone, ugh, God. Anyway, even you have got to realise that it is not okay that 2,500 people can do what the shit they want whilst you're being stopped from going to Mallorca. And for all those mums who've got girls, you know, who are no longer going to prom, you have my sympathies completely. Although I will say this, you have my sympathies as a mother if your daughter doesn't get to go to prom and she's crying and you're crying and you bought her a beautiful dress and she's done her Instagram pics showing off her prom dress, la-di-blah-di-flah. You have my sympathy if you're with Team Bloody Champion, which is our team, the Instagram family that we have. If you're with us and have been for the last 6 months or so, you are team champion and you have my sympathy, and your daughter, if I could hold a party, in fact, frig it, let's organise a prom party for every kid that didn't get to do their prom. What a great idea, in Hyde Park with massive great tents and the tartan army, although they'd violate every daughter you ever had in a great way. But then there'd be more Scottish people. But that's okay, as long as they're not all ginger. Anyway, we should have a mass party in a park for everybody who had their prom cancelled, because if 2,500 VIPs can come in without anything, you can sure as hell have a prom party. But if you're one of those mothers, of course, who were lecturing every other bastard on staying inside, who thought that you shouldn't be allowed out, who maybe had a go at me in Lidl or Sainsbury's for not wearing my mask, if you're one of those Nazi bastards, actually, now you're crying because your daughter can't go to prom, maybe you should have caught up 12 months ago when the rest of us realised this was a load of old shit. Because you can't really go crying just when it affects you, can you? This is kind of what I've been warning about for 15 years, right? And everyone's gone, that Katie Hopkins bitch, now she's lost her house. Now she's lost every job. But of course, eventually, it's your own daughter that's crying in her bedroom. You see what the fight was about? So don't go crying at the end. You have to get in amongst it and join the fight, or admit that you were wrong, can join the champion side. And the team of champions is going to get this country back open and going to get your daughter to a prom. And if I can, I'd hold the bloody prom myself. I don't have much cash, but if I had some, I'd pay to hold these proms for everybody. So that's Khan, that's the bullshit. And it's been a shit week, hasn't it, in terms of Boris. He came back from that friggin' G7 where they were having like beach barbecues, and he was like this huge, just pretending to run up and down the beach. Then like some heffing great beluga whale, this white thing, going into the sea, and everyone's like, oh, look at him taking his exercise, isn't that great? No, piss off. He's on a beach we're not allowed on, in a luxury resort, having a freaking barbecue, watching the red arrows, trying to hump Biden's leg like some rabid dog with gonorrhea. No, that's not okay. No, I don't admire him. And Carrie running down with her towel like some bloody prop with her stupid dress on. No, you're not Carrie Bradshaw, babe. You're just a sort of moderately average. I'd probably give you a 5 at best if I had a squint and some Vaseline on my glasses. You're nothing much, babe. We've seen you. It's not that great. And also, you're temporary, darling. You're Mrs. Johnson. You're the current Mrs. Johnson. You know what I mean? It's not like you're Mrs. Johnson and that extends some time into the future, babe. No, you're the current Mrs. Johnson, and soon you'll be replaced. You might not know about it. There'll probably be another couple of Wilfreds before you realise. And I say that as a woman whose own husband ran off with the secretary. But, you know, when you become the mistress, you create a vacancy, babe. So get over yourself. Stop giving him his towel and start giving him the cold shoulder, because you're going to look like a twat pretty soon. Little bit of advice there from an old lady. I thought I'd bring you some lighter news from the West Country, which is where I live. Don't look up specifically where I live because it gets a bit freaky. You'll know that jihadis came in the past to chop my head off in my own home. And my home had to be fitted with panic alarms in the middle of the night. But I guess that's what you get for having an actual opinion in the UK, right? Anyway, here in my home, where it's all countryside and lovely, I've adopted a bloody blackbird, which is annoying me because A, I'm not a vegan, I'm not a bloody countryphile, bloody reporter, I'm not, I'm none of those things. I'm clearly not a leftist. I don't eat quinoa, and I don't believe in people that don't eat meat. Like, who are you even? And do you really think animals would exist if we didn't chomp away at their ass? No. But anyway, this bloody blackbird has adopted me, and he now comes to my kitchen window, and I have to go out and feed him because I feel obligated, because I don't want to disappoint anyone. So he's called Stumpy because he's missing a tail. So he's actually a really shit blackbird. And my daughter calls him a shit chicken, which is exactly right, because he's not actually a blackbird. Well, I mean, he is, but he doesn't have a tail feather. So he's basically a shit chicken because he walks around and he doesn't even lay shitting eggs. So we have a shit chicken in our garden. I feel morally obligated to feed him. And so every time he comes to the window now, I have to go out and feed him a biscuit. I don't know that they should be eating, Cadbury's chocolate digestives, but that's what Stumpy's eating, and he seems to be blossoming under it. Someone tell Countryfile immediately, or Monty Don. Actually, on that subject, Mother, bloody go and watch Monty Don. Stop watching me. So Stumpy and I have developed a relationship, and I now have a relationship with a shit chicken, which probably sums up life as like a 46-year-old woman, right? You end up with a relationship with a shit chicken. I also have, in the manner of an Aesop's fable, if you don't know who Aesop's fable and Aesop was, please, for God's sake, look it up. Have some culture about you. A bit like Enid Blyton, darling, who was not a racist, nor a sexist, nor a xenophobe. She was just bloody epic. And I intend to go and put flowers at her home address next time I'm there. And all these bloody politically correct bullshitters who say that she's this, that or the other can piss right off. I said that a lot today, haven't I? Anyway, back to the calming and harmonious garden report that I was actually delivering. Apart from the shit chicken, the other day I found a bumblebee on a ledge, and I'd been listening for my sins to Radio 2. No one should ever listen to Radio 2 because all they do is talk like unicorns and hot air. My name's Zoe Ball and all I've got to say is super positive shit all the time in a quite high-pitched voice. She talks in a voice that only, dogs can hear. But still, good on you, bird, for having a job and everything and being in radio, which is more than I can say now. Anyway, bumblebee, ledge, I heard on the damn radio, because I'm such a vegan these days, was a bumblebee. And I was told bees are only ever 40 minutes from death, right? So even if they're fully full, like their tummies are full, they're only 40 minutes from starvation. And I swear to God, in a former life, I've probably been a bumblebee, because I feel that way most of the day. Like even if I've just eaten a massive Chinese, I'm probably still going to be hungry in about 40 minutes. That aside, bumblebee, they said what you have to do is you have to get sugar water, put it near its face, and the bumblebee will be restored. So there's the bumblebee. Off I go like some good, bloody leftist. I go and make up sugar water. I know me. The biggest bitch in Britain is in my own damn kitchen. I've got the shittest chicken in my garden that somehow tamed me into feeding him biscuits. And now if I go and make sugar water to feed to the bloody bee, feed the bee gets better, revives, starts buzzing around. I trap him in my scarf to put him out the window. What happens? The bee stings my ass. He stung me on the end of my finger. So the point I'm getting to, people are like, come on, woman, move along. The point I'm getting to is you cannot control the behaviour of others, right? I can look after the bee, I can restore the bee, but the bee still stings me on the way out the window. But I shouldn't feel sad about that, right? I should just be happy that I did the right thing. And sometimes a bee is going to sting your ass, okay? That's how life is. And that's how you have to see life as well. So even if someone shits on your head, you've got to think, what did I do? Did I do the right thing for me? Yes, I did. Let them own being a shithead. Do you see where I'm going with this? When you allow someone else to upset you, you mustn't. Think what you did. Did you do the right thing? Yes. Even if you did the wrong thing, as long as it was very wrong and very naughty, like the Tartan Army, that can also be the right thing. I've done very naughty things in my life and I don't regret any of them. In fact, I wish I'd done them much more. What was I going to tell you about next? Yes, I wanted to talk to you about my children mocking me relentlessly. I was putting on my underwear this morning. I also need to talk to you about these. These are my earrings that need talking about because people are talking about them. Now, I don't know where I bloody well bought them, darlings. And we agreed that I'm a bit of a shit influencer, aren't I? I will never make it to Dubai. These are quite important earrings because you'll see not only are they flamingos, but their legs move and they remind me of me because my legs feel quite like that. I'm not sure my joints are in the right place either. I should remember where I bought things and I can tell you. Most things come from Etsy, these didn't, but they are the greatest earrings I've ever seen. I was putting my underwear on this morning and my daughter went past me and said, what are those, pancakes at my boobs? See, when children do that, there's kind of a couple of things that go through your head, aren't there? A, I'm delighted that she's got, the double Ds from my mother. B, I'm delighted that she's got massive boobs. C, there's a part of me that wants to say, yes, I have pancakes because I fed your ass. Right? There's a line that isn't very motherly that you do want to come back at. And I would say growing up, you never imagined you'll have a full-size grown person in your life that you actually produced that then mocks your boobs. That's not what you expect to happen in life. Also, you don't expect as a woman-ish, vaguely, with a wang or not, as we discussed, to have a daughter that has double Ds. How does that happen? And how does it miss a go? How did I not get them, but then she did? I don't even know if I'd want double Ds, actually. I'd be just twatting myself in the face when I go running. So I'm going to be on time tonight because we must go and watch the football and support whoever you're going to support. I'm supporting the fans of Scotland partly because I love the Tartan Army, and then I'm supporting England because I should, because otherwise my husband won't speak to me. Now, anyone want to ask me questions? I'm going to try and answer them. I am going to try and do some questions because every week I say I will, and every week I don't, because I just talk my arse off the whole time. I should thank you all as well. Thank you for being part of this. Thanks for all the kind comments, and thanks for being part of the Instagram platform that I really want you to have as yours. What I want to do next is get it to 250,000. So we become 250,000 Katies. The reason for that is it just pisses everybody off. The fact that I got wiped out of Twitter when I was at 1.2 million. Actually, Instagram is far more powerful than that now, because we're a much broader church that don't have to agree. I think if we can try and get this Instagram to 250,000 Katies, I think there will be a lot of fun to be had with that. And I also think it helps our side because there's many of us, and the champions, the side of champions is growing. Right. What are my honest thoughts on Scotland? Well, you know, I'm not a fan of Sturgeon, as we know, because A, she's short, B, she's short, C, she's childless, D, she's ginger, E, she's called Nicola and she speaks like this, and she has really, really, really ugly sign language people. And I totally get that none of us should judge people on their looks. I mean, I get it all the time and I accept that because I'm out here. Not that I'm saying that I like my looks. But the sign language people, can we not just get some hotties? Surely there's some good-looking sign language. I've seen some good-looking sign language dudes. Can we just get some of them in the tight trousers thing? Because this whole women, like size 125, just ugly. I get that there's sort of Sturgeon is sort of suggesting, I think, that people who can't hear very well or are blind or whatever, what is she saying? That they just want to be spoken to by ugly people. I don't think that's true. I think deaf people deserve to have beautiful people speaking to them. So please, if you're a beautiful sign languager, please get in touch with Nicola Sturgeon. And please just say, look, let's not have the ugly ones anymore. And when am I doing my tour of public toilets? I've done that, darling. I did that mostly from 14 through 17. So I'm not planning to go back to that. I'm still looking for a stage in the UK and a theatre that will allow us to fill it. I'm still looking for a theatre that will allow Katie Hopkins to do Unzipped for a night. And we will fill that damn place and we will have the best time. And I still don't have one. But as soon as we get a venue, we're going to do it and we're going to sell those damn tickets. I don't give a shit who takes the money. I don't care who gets paid. I don't want a penny of it. I just want to be back on a stage in the UK and to bring some of this damn laughter that we need. Don't say nice things about how I look. Thank you. I mean, it's very kind of you, but I'm not, as we know, I'm not that great at compliments. So we'll park that. Thank you. I'm quite good at handling people being unkind. I've never been that great, have I? Right, questions. We will. Yes, I know. So the venue thing, I'm tempted to say we just need to build a bloody theatre and then surround it with a moat and then maybe some lions or something so that lefties can't get in to hurt people, so that it's somehow given a sanctuary so that we can actually host something there. Because the last time I did an event in a church just outside of Brighton, busloads of Antifa-y types were bussed in and then attacked the elderly people that were leaving the church before I spoke, then broke down the door. I had to be physically removed from the building, and the local police went and hid behind the local view in order to allow me to be attacked and the church to be vandalised so that the event would be shut down. So that's the sort of stuff that happens in terms of not being allowed to do that in the UK, and that's why venues are frightened of hosting me. Come to the march. Yeah, be not afraid. I am in the UK and I've promised you, and you always have my word, that I will be there to help make our stand for freedom. So don't be too surprised if some strange looking bird starts jumping up around you when you're next walking for freedom through London. Keep your eye out, because I'll be somewhere and I'll be walking right alongside you, whether you realise it or not. I know, right? We'd love to do this live. I know. It would be so fun. And we will, I'm sure of it. We just have to wait for a little more for the tide to change, I guess. I think GB News is probably going to help. I love the fact that it's made leftists so annoyed. They won't allow me on there because they would see it as being too dangerous for them. But I think, you know, we can get this tide to change. And once we finally get this country back open again, a lot of people are going to see that they were lied to for a very long time. I'd host you in my house. We could do this, couldn't we? We could do Katie Hopkins house parties, and I just turn up at houses around. But actually, it'd be really great, wouldn't it? If you got 20 or 30 people together, and then we could just have house parties, the Hopkins house parties around the UK. Or maybe we start doing the Katie's Arms from different people's houses. That's not a bad idea either. And then we could have families on it, a bit like Gogglebox, but less shit. a bit like Gogglebox, but less staged for the cameras, and a bit less of people on sofas trying to do things they think will mean they get the TV time ahead of someone else, right? Just a bit more authentic and genuine than that. Okay, I will move on. I'm coming to Katie's house party. I know, wouldn't this be just glorious? Imagine if we got like Channel 5 or someone to follow us around, watching us piss off people as we do Hopkins house parties for the Katie's Arms. We will think of that. Listen, I will let you go because I want everybody to be watching the football and doing their own funsies rather than be listening to me. I thank you all for being legends on Instagram. You're just the best. And the thing I love most about it all is that other people can find each other on the chat bit. I don't really know how this works still, as you can tell. And then they find other people so they know they're not alone. And that's always going to be my message to you, is that sometimes when you feel that you're really alone, you're not, because we're many. You just hadn't been able to hear us till now. Also, if you were on the wrong side of this thing, and for all that time you were a COVID Nazi, maybe you were a mask wanker and wore your mask alone in your car, it's not an unforgivable offence, right? You can still wake up, even if you've been double vaxxed. That was your choice. It might have been the wrong choice. It doesn't matter. You can still change sides. Like, you don't have to stay in that lane. You can come over to this lane now that you've seen the scale of the lies. Come over to the good side. Go walking with everybody in London next time we walk for freedom, and you'll feel it. You'll feel the joy of being on our side, because our side isn't political at all. It's just the side that absolutely wants the best for each other. And that's how I felt, well, I guess for the last 15 years or so. It's just, I guess now we're starting to all get onto the same page. Anyway, yes, the footy is starting. God, I hope Roy Keane's there. Don't tell my husband. Right, I'm off to Perth at Roy Keane. I wish you all well. Good luck to Scotland. Good luck to England. Good luck to the fans. Go well tonight. Do fun. Do the funnest thing. Be the funnest fun you can be in the heart of London. Take no notice of the little nipple-hype twat, Sadiq Khan. And I will see you all next week for the Katie's Arms, when we will be, I don't know where we'll be, but I have a funny feeling that might be, no, I don't know where we'll be. But anyway, we'll be back next week. Go. Go and join the football. Go and have fun. Go and drink lots. Cuddle lots of people. Make friends with people you used to not like. And I'll remember that ours is the side to be on. Bring a friend, and we will get to 250,000 Katies. And maybe we'll try and set up these house parties around the UK as well. Okay, I'll see you next time, with or without my wang.